Hello, my name is Nikki, and today we have another Let's Draw. This picture is actually not a portrait, but it's actually focus is not the portrait aspect of it. The focus is the clothes aspect of it. So, as promised, I did say I was gonna change to practicing clothes after I got off the portrait thing, and that's what I started doing with this one. Unfortunately, I had a really hard time with this one. It was not a fun process. I struggled through this one. I mean, I really started off with high hopes for this one. I loved the sketch. I loved the reference. I thought it was such a cool pose to be stooped down on this chair, and I loved it. But when I got to the painting, it wasn't good. And some of the sketch too, her head in mine kept looking really big. I keep resizing it. Over and over I resize the head to get it to look not so big compared to the body. And part of the problem is just the angle of her upper body makes it look really small. So her head looked big in proportion. And then I had all these laces to paint. I went really simple with the laces. I mean, I'm happy with what I did, but I think I could have done better with making it look more realistic. But I went real basic with the laces. There are some aspects of this that I really like the chain around her neck came out so nice. The gold, oh, I loved it. And I actually really liked how the top and pants were rendered too. I loved it. Really came out nice, and you can tell their folds and little bumps and curves in the clothes. One of those satisfying moments with those. Another thing I went really simple with was the chair. Part of me was wanting to do all the wood texture of the chair, and I contemplated it, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I just did really basic shading. I did some of the lines in the chair, but that was about it. Basic shading of the chair. I don't know, whenever it comes to clothes, I feel so lazy. But I tried my best with this one. I did try to really do it well. Do the clothes well, I mean. Okay, now we're doing the color blocking, and I think I got most of the colors pretty good. I think my color scheme is actually a lot lighter and more saturated than the reference. And I did notice that when I was doing it, but I was like, you know what? I kind of like it better this more saturated look. I'm kind of enhancing it, But I kind of lost that, I guess, I don't know. The lighting didn't really work out that well on the face. Part of it is because I'm trying to use the reference as a guide for coloring the face, but at the same time I have these really bright and saturated colors in my piece overall, and it just made her face look really flat. Her face coloring looked really flat to me, and somebody did point it out in chat too, that her face looked kind of flat, and I agreed, but I didn't know how to fix it, honestly. So I lived with it. I mean, I tried so many things to try to fix the face. I tried adding sharper or darks shadows over the face and lighter lights, but I don't know if I needed to change the colors themselves or what. I don't know. I'm still looking at it right now. I'm looking at the final product, comparing it to the reference, and I'm still not sure what I needed to do to change it, to fix it. I guess it's just part of the growing process. You're not able to make all the art that you can imagine in your head. You know what you want it to look like, but you can't make it happen on paper. It's just part of the process, so that's cool. The hair was a bit of a mess for me. I didn't like the final products of the hair. I kind of I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, that front part, that part over the shoulder, did not come out that good. I didn't like it, but the top I was okay with, and the left part was okay. Here you can see I'm doing the face now, and You can feel how flat it feels. Like, I think maybe I needed some sharper edges to my shadows, maybe. It's too blended out, maybe. I'm not sure. You see, I added the shadow in the top of the head to try to fix it. Added a shadow in the bottom of the chin. Started doing the eyes and the mouth. I mean, at this point, it's pretty much rendered, and I mean, it's okay. I'm looking at the speed paint right now. It's not bad. It's not as bad as I remember. This is always how it is. Like, when you're in the thick of it and you're painting and painting and painting, you're unable to see as well. Like, you know, it's not as bad as you think. I kind of liked how the hand came out, like with these really red shadows under the ear, by the ear. I really liked it. It's not quite that red in the reference. It's actually a little bit darker, more, maybe even more purple. But I like the red that I ended up with on her hands. I'm looking at myself painting the skin and the arms. I'm like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? It's like always retrospect, right? Where you're like, I wish I had done this and that to make it look better. Like there's some parts of the arm with the bracelet that I feel like could have been done a little better. This hand I also liked. I liked just the varying shades along her fingers and the fingernails at the very tip. It looks really cool. All right, now we're doing one of my favorite parts of this, which was the shirt. Which was like the main focus, right? The clothes. But I really loved how the shirt came out with the folds and everything. It looks so cool. It looked the way I wanted it to look. And then the chain also came out nice too. I used the pen tool in Paint Tool Side to do the highlights, and then I erased some parts and darkened some parts like I'm doing now around it. But I thought because I wanted to keep the perfect sphere and the perfect straight line, I didn't want to draw it by hand, so I used the pen tool to do it. And then I'm touching up the skin, and now we're doing the pants. The pants were it wasn't difficult, it was just so much. By this point I was like so stressed about the rest of the piece, like what I had just finished, and I was like, oh, it's so terrible, that I didn't let myself enjoy painting the pants, because the pants were really good. Like thinking back on it, it would have been more fun if I was more relaxed. Oh my gosh, I'm remembering the editing process of this. Like, I stopped so many times to talk while I was doing the laces. I had to cut out so many pauses. It was so annoying. If you could see my timeline in DaVinci, oh my gosh, like the amount of like little chopped up pieces like pushed together is crazy. It was so annoying. Oh my gosh, I can't even. But I got out most of as much pauses as I could, because I know that's going to be annoying to watch, like constant pausing in the drawing. So I try to cut it all out. That's basically all my editing is cutting out the pauses when I'm talking to chat. Anyways, as you can see, I'm doing the laces pretty simple. I'm doing the shoes themselves pretty simple. Just like putting in the shadows to delineate each of the laces. Basically, that was it. You know, I wasn't really doing anything fancy. I did decide to add this line in the base because I think that was in the reference and I forgot to add it, and I meant to add it. And now I'm cleaning up the edges of the pants. Okay, now we're onto the hair. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you'll see my paint. After like going through the pants were fun, the shoelaces were tedious, and then I had to do the hair and like the highlights. I think my problem with the highlights is the reference shows like the highlights as a very cool color. It's like almost bluish, and I went with gray because I was like, that's what I read it as at the time, and the gray really makes it look washed out, and it didn't read as highlights very well on that part over the shoulder to me. When I added, there we go, I added that like orange glow because there's this orange light coming from the left. It fixed the hair so much. It made it look so much better, and it made me like it better, even with that part over the shoulder that I didn't like. But anyways, we are coming to the close. All it is left is the chair. But it's done. I don't hate this as much as I sound like I do. It's not that bad. I don't mind it. I hope you like it. Feel free to check out my work on Instagram. My links are below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.